What up, Metalheads?
Hey,
Welcome back to the Table of Metal, where we are here.
to review Symbolic. Alright, cut it. So there's the introduction to this whole album. That is the album opener to Death's sixth album, Symbolic. This is where they're at their most prime, I think, and a lot of people think. And their next album is also when he's at his most prime. At this point, the band has really fully developed into who they really are. So let's dive right into, when did this album come out, Isaac? 1995, March 21st, reissued and remastered on April 1st of 2008.
Yep, April Fools. No, I'm just kidding. Okay.
Wow, okay.
So we have...
Are you calling everyone a fool who bought it?
The introduction you just heard, this one right here to the first song, Symbolic. Hit it, Death Angel.
I don't mean to dwell, but I can't help myself. Would I feel
Alright, got it.
Guys, I just can't help myself.
Yeah, I can't help myself either when that song comes on. Can you not feel it when that song comes on? Alright. This album gets really technical. This album, it's technical, but in a way where they know what they're doing now. They know how to be technical.
Yeah,
at
you're not
this
getting
point.
lost in space anymore like the last album.
You're not getting lost in technicality like the previous album. Gene Hoglan's drumming, I think his best drum work is on this album. There's so much greatness. The lyrics to the first song here, Symbolic, is about memories and how us as humans have abilities to revisit certain emotions through memories, and he is treating it like a superpower. That's kind of what he's saying here in this song. He's saying that humans have this super ability called memory. Anyways, we're gonna move on to the next song, Zero Tolerance, which actually has one of the greatest guitar solos in it. I think it's one of my favorite guitar solos of all metal, of all time in the metal discography. Isaac, what do you think of the solo?
Let's play it and I'll say after.
All right, Death Angel, there you go.
if you're deciding God.
Got it? So, Isaac, what did you think of that solo?
It was very technical, but I don't dislike this technicality because it sounds very metal, but it is very balanced. It doesn't sound like you're lost in space again. It's very...
Yeah, you know, I really like the album. It kind of knew what it was doing. It had that rhythm in the background, that one guitar, the jigga 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 jigga. It had that rhythm going, and then it had it didn't have shredding. Like it did, but it wasn't just speed like they usually do in solos. He's kind of taking his time and really bringing kind of a melody into the solo. You know, I really like that. It was like a melodic solo.
Yeah.
Really liked it. Really enjoyable. Then we're gonna skip right over to Without Judgment. That's another thing I want to show you off of this album. So while they're doing all of this melody, technicality, all the songs have these different dimensions to it. The structures are really dynamic. Each song is structured in its own unique way. They're kind of doing away with the whole traditional song structure, and what I mean by that is verse, chorus, right? When you listen to pop music, that's all you get. You get a verse, and then you get a chorus, and then you get a verse, and you get two more choruses. When you get rap music, same thing, kind of get a chorus, or you just get this unwinding rhythm and poetry. And with metal, sometimes they too do the verse, chorus. But in this album, and lots of other Death albums, but this one specifically, they're really doing away with that simple structure, and they're really starting to like mountain climb on these song structures. They're really building unique song structures here. Some of them don't even have choruses. Anyways, while the whole album is doing that, what I just said, there's a curveball that they throw on at you in the sixth track, Without Judgment. It's a really rhythmic song in a technical way, not like Spiritual Healing, but in a technical way. It's not a simple rhythm. It's got a lot going on in it to make one rhythm. Then it does this to you. This is one of my favorite moments off of the album. Go ahead and check this out. Alright, cut it. So there's that part for you, and just to put it in context, here's how the rest of that song sounds. I should have showed this earlier, but Angel, will you go ahead and play that for us?
Distracted by the imagination that experiments with ease. If you
Got
look
it.
at that,
So that's what I mean by the song originally has this a simple rhythmic form, but it's the simple rhythm is made up of a lot of little working parts. So it is a technical. Does that? I hope you guys made sense of that.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So what did you think of that? Of the song, actually, Isaac?
The song, it takes the growling from Spiritual Healing, how it wasn't just this complete raw metal. It was
Yeah.
it was kind of flattened down, but not very polished. It was just it just kind of flattened and
You're
made
talking about
sense.
the vocals, right?
Yeah, the vocals.
Yeah, this is another thing I should bring up is on Chuck's vocals, it's a growl, but at this point in their career, he's starting to go up on the
Yeah. on
higher
the-
sides. He went from a low growl, and now on this album, he's just kind of like mid-tone growling.
Yeah.
It's almost like he's talking but growling.
Yeah.
Batmaning. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's that. Another thing I want to show you is on Misanthrope, which is my favorite track off this whole album. Lyrically, it's really cool. It has to do with minds and how delicate they are, and how it also talks about how opinions are dangerous. He uses a phrase, opinion dangerous, in this album. He talks about how simply just because someone has a different perspective on things, they gain a different opinion, and that opinion drives them to do dangerous things. Hence the name Misanthrope, hater of all mankind. It kind of like talks about the psychology and the mindset of people like Adolf Hitler or Mao Zedong and so on, killers even. He talks about how people have opinions from below, people like you and I, and opinions from above and breathe the sky. I like how he puts those words.
In poetry, kind of.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a little poetic, and I really like it. It says people who from above and breathe the sky, talking about people that are in higher positions.
More powerful. And
Yeah, more powerful. Anyways, this is my favorite song for a lot of reasons. This song does have simple structure. Intro, verse, chorus, and then verse, chorus, and then the song ends. But it's made up of, the choruses are made up of a ton of parts. The verse is made up of a ton of parts, so it's almost like it's not simple. You know, they're making a simple thing. It's like if you were to build a Lego person, a huge Lego person.
Yeah.
Like you know, you got the head,
Like
and
a
the,
life size.
and the arms and the torso. That's simple, but each piece is made up of smaller pieces. Take a listen to the intro to this song right here.
from above and around.
All right, so now take a listen to this part right here.
And breathe the sky. An opinion from below.
So there's that for you. That is the like transition part into. So you went from the intro to a verse, and then we're going to go into the chorus here, which is my favorite part. The drumming takes over this whole entire piece. All of this revolves heavily around the drumming. Just take a listen to this right here.
Listen to, hear of all mankind. There is some hope for those who own their mind.
All right. So
I wish we can keep that
I know. I
going.
wish we could have kept that going. But yeah, that song, it does a lot of things, and I mean this whole album does a lot of things. But the
little
drumming,
pieces.
yeah, little pieces. Little pieces are putting together bigger pieces, if that makes any sense.
It makes a bigger picture.
It's like a pyramid thing. Yeah, the little pieces make a bigger piece, a bigger picture, I should say, is what this album is about. But yeah, the drum work on that was really good. I really liked how technical it was, and I liked how, if you notice in that part, rewind the video after hearing this, but the riff, the guitar riff, da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na, you know, that stays the same, but then the drumming, it changes, and that's what changes the whole mood and set of the song. I think that's really interesting. That's what I mean by the drum work really takes over on this song, and perhaps even this whole album, really. I think the drum work is what stands out the most to me. Whenever I want to listen to badass drumming, I always go to this album. Yeah, to me, this is the go-to album for drumming. This is amazing drum work.
Yeah.
The rest of these songs are really good. Perennial Quest. It's got a good chorus. It like kind of, it's like this. It's a mellow song, but it's not. The way the instruments are is they're very mellow, but the drum work is not as mellow. So it's like a mellow, not mellow song.
Yeah.
But it works. It works. I would sample it to you, but I want to save it for you guys to listen. We don't want to do too much sampling. So, we're gonna wrap this up. There it is for you in a nutshell. Symbolic by Death. This is my favorite of Death. I really like it. I am actually gonna give this a 5 out of 5. You are not gonna see me hand those out a lot. It's hard for me to hand out full 5s, but honestly, there is not a single moment on this album I dislike. There's not a single moment on this album that I ever would skip over. There's nothing really wrong for me I think this whole album is perfect. I think it's really good. Isaac, what do you think about this?
Before I rate it, I just want to say I loved how the little pieces came together, because
Yeah.
that little the symbols in
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
symbol, the quick symbol
Yeah.
things.
the quick symbols made it very
Yeah.
it added a huge part into it, even though it was very faded out and it was
subtle.
very
Yeah.
it was very subtle. It was very quick, and it was very
Yeah, every note
Yeah.
complements the other note, even if it's of another instrument. It's
Yeah.
not just there to be a note. Every note counts on this album.
yeah.
So, rating, Isaac?
I want to give it a 5, but I'm giving it a 4, and that little tiny corner off.
Okay. All right. So 4 with just that much away from being a 5 for him.
Yeah.
So, do we recommend this album? I recommend this album to anyone that likes music. So, all of you music listeners that I was talking to earlier, if you're a music enthusiast, check this album out. Whether you like metal or not, it doesn't matter if metal is not your taste in music. This album really shows what music is capable of doing. It really shows what it can do. All the corners it's able to expand to, the technicality music can go. It also this is more than a death metal album, I would say. It's got elements of heavy metal, it's got elements of thrash metal, it's got elements of death metal. That's kind of about it, but it really does. If anyone wants to understand metal music, I think this whole album, not a song, but this whole album is a good eye-opener to what metal is, to what metal can do.
Yeah.
So if you're curious as to metal music, there's lots of beginner metal music like Judas Priest and Iron Maiden. Dio and whatnot, Black Sabbath. But this, I mean, does it all. This has the whole picture of metal in one album. So, yeah. Anyone that likes music needs to hear this. I think this needs to go on a top, whatever list of albums you listen to before death or before you die. Whether you like metal or not. If you like music, this album has to be checked out. And that's coming from someone, I'm a person, I don't only listen to death metal, or I don't only listen to metal, I listen to other music. But the reason why this channel is focused on metal is because not a lot of people gather and talk about metal. Metal is a very persecuted form of music, to where if you go and say, oh yeah, I like metal, people will go, oh, what, satanic, or what? You just listen
emo
to,
music.
you just listen to screaming.
Yeah.
And then it kind of sucks, because it's like, well, I listen to everything. I can appreciate all kinds of music, but you can't at least open your eyes up to see what metal is about. And that's why we made this channel here to talk about that. But anyways,
Yeah.
Would you recommend this album, Isaac?
I would recommend this album because exactly for the reasons that you said. Because honestly, this can get anyone. Because anyone, if you just showed a random person any other death album, they'd be like, "Wow, this is just screaming and a ton of instruments." But if you showed them this, like if you showed
Yeah, this is
any
easily
other,
comprehensible.
Yeah, not a non-metal listener, a non-metal knight.
Yeah, someone who's not a metal knight can
Yeah.
actually look into this and learn to appreciate it if they have open minds, or if they're stubborn and just don't know what they're talking about. They're going to say, this album sucks. And not to be biased or anything, but I mean, there's sometimes when you just can't say something sucks. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
you don't have to know anything about basketball to man, where was I going with that? Oh yeah, let's say I'm not a big basketball fan, but I can look at someone like LeBron or Kobe Bryant and go, wow, he's actually really good. Even though I don't like basketball, and I actually maybe I don't like the Lakers, but you just can't deny his skill on that. And that's what I'm kind of saying here on this album. You just can't deny what it is. It's a good album.
Yeah.
It does the things that not many musicians do, and because of that, this is a very legendary album. Very much appreciated. Again, 5 out of 5. I recommend this to anyone that likes music. Stay tuned for our final death review. Sound of Perseverance on the next one. I know we got a Godspeed, our first sub. This is your favorite, and we'll make sure to make that one special for you. So, stay tuned.